Welcome to episode 10 of the Current Backloggers. The date is April 16th. I'm your host, KCP, along with my good friend and co host, Cody G.
I've returned.
I'm kind of trying to act like I'm floating you here with my hand, but it's a little awkward. Look, I'm
Wish I
holding
could
your
see
mic.
this.
You'll be able to see. That's why I thought I'd entertain you.
Oh,
I'm just going to hold your mic the whole time like this. It was
thank you.
inappropriate. I'll stop. Um,
I have a mic stand though, so you don't have to do that.
oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry about that. Um, Yeah, Cody, you finally returned. Well, you haven't returned, but you returned to the show. So, what have you been up to?
You're looking at it, man. Just putting this whole game room together.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me see if I can move this around. You could probably see it. Well,
Oh
not
yeah.
really. That's only like a portion of it. There's some over here. Let me move this. There's some over there. To the right of it. It gets real hoardy over here. It's like a episode of TLC. Or is it TLC that has hoarding?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know if you can see all that
Oh yeah.
stuff, but yeah. Yeah, so if there's ever a fire, I've decided to put a lot of cardboard over there. So when the cardboard catches on fire, it goes straight to the ceiling and it'll be easily spreadable to the rest of the house.
That's a weird
So,
game plan to have.
yeah, it's actually pretty cool.
No, I said weird. I think there's a lag or something since we're doing this in Discord.
Oh, yeah.
um. Okay. So you haven't been up to anything else, or just the room?
That and just work and playing some video games here and there.
I feel you. Yeah, it's about the same for me. Another normal 40-hour, well, as normal it can be, 40-hour work week. Um, Tomorrow, I don't work, but tomorrow they're going to start taking temperatures with a infrared sensor and scanning everybody's foreheads. And
You know, we've been doing that.
oh,
That's what
really?
I do at work. Yeah, I'm the one that scans people.
Sounds a little terrifying. I'm not like actually worried, but just hearing that sounds terrifying.
I don't know if yours will be this way, but ours, they're like known to be a couple degrees off.
Oh, perfect.
So it's like, how do you know?
Uh huh.
If someone's 98, they could be 100.
Or they could be Nicolas Shea.
Oh, that's a throwback.
Do you get it?
98 degrees.
Yeah, my guy. Um, okay. Well, do you have any feedback, buddy, since you've been gone so long?
Yeah, a little less you. If we could get someone else in there.
Well, actually, as people will see, and you'll see once this is over, my screen's bigger than yours, so it's actually more me than used to.
Dang it. Dang it.
Yeah, I don't have anything either. Besides, I know that there's been a lot of audio issues, and then obviously, um, I'm sure we're gonna have issues doing this on Discord. But yeah, any corrections, questions, or feedback, you can send to currentbackloggers at gmail.com. And what about news, guy? You got anything?
No, but I keep forgetting that we're on a podcast till you say something that's like, hey, we have an email address. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's just not a regular Discord hangout.
Yeah, don't pull a Kyle Washington on us, buddy.
Oh, too soon, man.
um, okay, well, I actually haven't seen much news either. But I can ask you a few things since you weren't here last week. What are your thoughts on the PS5 controller?
I don't hate it. It's kind of weird.
Uh huh.
And I without a doubt in my mind, that controller is going to be so nasty after a few months. It's going to be so disgusting.
Yeah. Um, I think it will, but at the same time, the Xbox had almost the 360 had almost all white controllers at the beginning. I didn't have much issue with those. So,
Oh, I did.
oh, did you?
Oh, it's I can get you one out of my closet right now that looks like looks pretty bad.
The only issue I ever had, and you're probably real grossed out by this. People hated me, but it was kind of one of those weird fascinations. Was I'll hold it up right here. The lines in the controller would it get build up. I love getting what do you call them? Not
Like a toothpick.
yeah, I was gonna say a Q-tip, but yeah, just grinding all that out there and watching it come out, and
Yeah.
it was pretty satisfying in a weird way. But as far as the actual look of the controller, they never looked that bad for mine.
What's really cool is buying a used controller and then doing that, and then realizing while you're cleaning it, like this is somebody else's hand grease.
Uh huh. Um, so I left something out when I was talking about it. Did you hear it has a built-in mic?
I don't like that. I
Yeah,
did, but I don't like that.
yeah. I think it's cool in theory that everybody has a mic because I can't remember when you first got your PS3, but that was a huge issue with PS3 because it didn't launch with a headset like 360 did. So the online games didn't feel like online games because you're playing, but literally nobody was talking. So I like it in theory, but yeah, in execution, I don't know if you remember when the Kinect first launched and you could instantly tell when somebody's using that when you go into a game and hear absolutely everything. And
Still happens.
yeah, um, and I can only imagine that'll be amplified when the microphone is connected to the thing you're holding and clicking and pressing and and every single person's gonna have that. But I just can't imagine. Sony does some dumb stuff, but I can't imagine they didn't put that into their thoughts. I don't know if there's some kind of technology that's actually gonna stop those noises or like hide them, or at least like an activation switch to turn off if it's hearing noises like that or something. But still, I don't know how they wouldn't think about it, but I don't know if there's technology to actually fix that issue.
Yeah, and if it's a similar charging situation, will there be a weird noise while you're charging too? While you got
Oh
a
yeah,
controller plugged in? I
yeah, I
didn't
don't
think
know.
about the clicks, but yeah, you'll definitely be able to hear some clicks unless they have something in there. But yeah, the connects were terrible, man.
Uh huh.
You'd hear whole conversations. There, you'd hear parents arguing, and then you just like feel really terrible and sad. Actually, that happened last night on Wars or this morning on Warzone. This guy, we got into a group. I should have just muted people. I should have followed your idea and just like, yeah, let's just not talk to toxic people, and it's just easier that way.
Uh huh.
I get into this game, and this guy, they're an established friend group, and I was I was fourth wheeling. Uh, the guy had his TV on, and I'm guessing he was talking with his Connect. I don't know, but you could hear everything, and I was being nice, like it's okay, I'll just ignore him, being like that.
Uh huh.
Um, and then anything that went wrong, it was never the friend group; it was always me. And the guy would just be like, "Go run in there, run! Don't be a pussy, don't be a pussy." And just it was real. It was like a time warp. It felt like I was back in 2007 Call of Duty with how ridiculous it was. And the guy sounded like maybe 10 years older than I am. I'm trying to think of some of the other things he said. And when Warzone ends, he waited to like the last like 20 seconds to say something really rude. And I just told him his jokes were cringe because it didn't make sense. He's like, because they had a whole team rushing and they knocked everyone down. And he told me that all I was doing while they were playing the game was sitting there masturbating. And he kept saying it over and over again. And then he told me, I don't even remember. Oh, I ran over a dead guy with a car by accident. I was just driving and ran over a body. And then he asked me if I wanted to get into a leg race with a kid in a wheelchair. I had no idea what any of these jokes meant, and when they didn't make sense, they were so cringy. But his friends would just laugh like like a snake
Uh
laugh.
huh. Oh, I know that laugh all too well.
And the whole time, like everything happening in the game, it would just be echoed through his, I'm guessing, Connect. And he just thought he was the funniest guy in the world. And I played terrible because I was just so angry. And then he's like, "All right, good game, Cody. We'll see you in the showers." And then you just hear like echoes of, tss, tss. And that was enough to me to just turn off my Xbox. I was so pissed off. So yeah, I just from here on out, I don't even care anymore. I was like, wow, this was toxic. It was toxic back then, and I didn't like it then. I don't like it now, so I don't even care about mics anymore. If I'm not in a
Yeah,
party, I'm not listening to anybody anymore.
I think the issue is that it's the dream everybody wanted, but they realize that the dream isn't what we thought. Bringing PS4, Xbox One, and PC together, let's create the worst audience in history.
It's pretty bad, man. Especially because Call of Duty, there's we talked about it last night. There's a lot of normal people. The like I don't know. I don't even know what the plebs is that the terrible term for that?
Probably, I just call them bros, but yeah,
The only games they buy are Madden and Call of Duty, and I want to bash a keyboard over their heads because it's just some of the cringiest people. It's like we play video games to escape, and I don't want to listen to your choir of snakes and your terrible jokes that are just like, yeah, you jerking your dick over there, and then see you in the showers. Like he's some sort of like PE teacher or something. That's what he reminded me of. Was a PE teacher.
uh-huh. Um, I know we talked about a few episodes ago. Did you see they announced a release date for Pod Racing or Pod Racer? I always thought it was Pod Racing, but I guess it's called Pod Racer. Did you see they announced a release date for May 12th for PS4 and Switch?
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm actually excited for it, especially because they, like I said, they modernized the controls and up the graphics and everything. Because it's cool in theory, but I'm sure if you went back and played the 64 game, it'd be unplayable right now.
Yeah.
So I thought that was actually pretty exciting. I might actually get it probably on the PS4 since a lot of trophies.
I knew kids that had it, but I mainly played it in the arcades just to how cool that
Oh,
machine
really?
was.
Yeah, I like that. But I owned it on 64, so I played it all the time. Especially because pod racing was the coolest part of episode 1 besides Darth Maul. Um, did you see, I don't believe it, but did you see this rumor about Xbox buying Sega?
Whoa, no. Well,
Yeah,
I completely missed that.
I think it's because it's probably not true, but the off chance it is, that'd be nuts. And Microsoft has been buying a lot of studios, but I'm guessing that's probably why somebody thought they could get away with a fake. But they said it'll be announced on June 14th, which will probably be in line with if they're going to do like an E3 style event. But also, anybody's going to make something fake is also going to know to put that kind of stuff in there to get people to be like, oh, well, that makes sense. But I guess there is always that off chance, and that'd be absolutely crazy.
That would be right up their alley too, man. You got the historical importance.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, they want more Japanese developers, and Sega does really good with PC games as well. They make some of the best PC games, in my opinion.
Yeah, and that'd definitely be the biggest name they acquire, and Sony's only losing studios, it seems like. So it would make sense, but I just don't think it's. I don't think it's true, but I could be wrong.
Well, I mean, technically Sega doesn't make the Total War franchise, but I don't know if that means they would come over too. If they
Yeah, I'm not
publish
sure.
them.
They already made
How would
a.
that work?
I don't know. I know they made Halo Wars 2. Microsoft contract them for that. So yeah, I don't know.
That'd be exciting though.
Yeah, then that'd be a really cool E3 announcement. So I hope they do something.
It makes me more upset the stuff that's slowly come out about what was going to happen at E3.
Me too. You've heard me if you've watched these episodes talk about that, especially the Nintendo stuff. Man, we've talked about wanting Nintendo back there for like 5 years now.
Did you hear though that they've announced dates for next year?
Yeah, I meant to talk about that if I didn't, and but I just don't know. I hope it actually happens, but I still feel like this is probably gonna be what would have been the last E3.
Dang.
I hope I'm wrong. I don't think it would have been because, like I said, if they could have done it this year, I think that would have amplified it for at least a few more years because this year could have been so big that I feel like they could have lived off that for a few more years. But since this didn't happen, I can't see it continuing. But I definitely hope I'm wrong. And them doing it is a good sign, but that only means so much if they don't follow through with it.
What happens to the ESRB then?
I don't know.
You know what's funny to think about too? If you look back, Sega was the back at Sega's heyday, when they were still leading the console war. They had started the ESRB, one of the
Yeah,
main like people behind it.
yeah.
It's
Like,
so weird to think about that. Probably now the ESRB is worth way more money than Sega is.
oh, I'm sure. It's also weird to think that I'm pretty sure you can't see me, right?
No,
Yeah, so this is weird because I keep looking at you, but I'm like, you're not seeing me at all. Uh, I
just your
think,
beautiful voice.
oh, I think that's actually it gaming wise. So we could talk about some random things. I saw that, I know you saw the XFL canceled, well, not canceled, but went bankrupt and I don't know what you want to call it, canceled next season and canceled operations pretty much. But
Yeah,
I'll go ahead.
I did see that. It's kind of nice. So it seems like they've furloughed things, and I think it's Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So that's like a restructuring of debt, and can be a pretty normal thing if you want to stay in operations. If they wanted to be out, they would just. I think it's Chapter 7, where you're like, yeah, we're done. So I mean, that's a good sign.
Yeah, I would have thought that, but did you see they completely laid everybody off, like even the owners and everything, or they're all gone and there's no players signed to the league or
Really?
anything?
Wow.
So, yeah, I think in the way they talk and all the higher up people, I'm pretty sure it's done. And that's super depressing because it had so much promise. The one thing I have seen the past couple days, I don't believe it, but I really hope it's true, is that they said they filed for bankruptcy in the hope that somebody else would buy it. And they said that the report said that they have multiple buyers lined up that could buy it, but they won't say who it is. And I don't know if any of it's true, but that is the rumor. And I know we talked about it. If the NFL was smart, I really hope they're one of the buyers and start a developmental league because I can't believe they don't have one. And
Makes
get
no
rid of,
sense, man.
yeah, get rid of some of these cities they had in the league that made no sense, like New York and LA. Like I said from the beginning, coincidentally enough, those are the stadiums that were the least filled and had the least fans. And St. Louis and Seattle and these places made more sense for filling their stadiums. And I feel like I really hope this is what's going to happen because I think the league deserves to stay, especially St. Louis. They should already have an NFL team. I feel like if the NFL is a buyer for it, that'd be a perfect way and make so much sense for them. Like I said, it's crazy they don't have a developmental league, but then on top of that, I think it'd be a perfect test subject. Like instead of adding the Raiders to Las Vegas, and probably in about 10 years it's going to fall apart and be absolutely nothing. You could leave started a team in Las Vegas in a developmental league and let it sit there for a year, 5, 10 years, however you want it. And then if it keeps growing, be like, all right, well, we're gonna move you up to the NFL now. I feel like it's makes sense on two levels like that.
Also, do you think they would? I think they'd have to have alternate seasons. I don't think they could do like a baseball thing.
Yeah, I think they could do that, but I think it'd be smarter to have alternate seasons. And the way the XFL was set up would have been perfect, so they don't overlap at all. The XFL literally started the week after the NFL, and then would have ended um, in like a couple months here, so it would have ended before the NFL started. I do think football is big enough that I think they could do it at the same time and have like um, Friday and Saturday be the NFL games and Sunday be the other leagues games. But yeah, I don't think that'd be the smart option. I just think they could do that with how big football is in America.
For sure. And I'm thinking Columbus would be
Uh huh.
perfect place for one.
Yeah, that's. I feel like I said, some of the markets they chose in the XFL I didn't understand. LA and New York, you could at least make an argument for just because you want the market share and everything there. But some of the other ones like Dallas and Houston, those places I did not get at all because all of them had NFL teams except St. Louis. And I think that'd be the way to do it. Put in St. Louis and Columbus, Oklahoma City, Birmingham, all these places that would fucking destroy. And then you probably couldn't move places like Columbus up, unfortunately, because they probably want the two Ohio teams. But still, like I said, you could use that as a test bed, or like if something happened to one of the NFL teams here, but well, Columbus is doing crazy. We could move them into the NFL, and I feel like it just makes so much sense on so many levels.
Yeah, and you could even have some overseas teams because they talk about how, football's pretty big in Mexico and England,
Yeah,
um, American football.
yeah.
London, like a London team, and then I don't know where you put them in Mexico. Where do the Raiders play in Mexico? What was
Um,
that?
Mexico City's usually where they
Mexico
go.
City.
Yeah,
I remember that famous Raiders game where the laser pointers and crazy stuff that happens there.
yeah. I know everybody's talking about how Vince McMahon was obviously BSing about the money he had and that he couldn't support the league. I don't think that's the case because I think he obviously has more than enough money. I think if this whole nonsense with the virus didn't happen, I don't think they would have went under. I feel like it was the fact that he knew he was going to have to put all that investment back in the league to start it back up, because that was the biggest cost up front was getting the advertisement and hyping this league up. And if the league kept going, the hype would have been paying for itself. But I feel like the fact that he knew he was going to do that all over again and gain a fan base again, he's like, this, I can't do this. But I don't think it was BS that he had enough money for 3 seasons because fucking Vince McMahon and wrestling. So I'm sure he does have enough money to support it for 2 more years if he wanted.
Yeah, I agree. I was actually just thinking about that. I was like, man, what happened to the 3 year thing? But his plans were probably based on the fact that money would still be coming in.
Yeah. Yeah. Because even the projection was that they'd be losing money for 3 years, but that would, after 3 years, they'd start gaining money and it'd be worth it. And that's what I'm saying. I think that was based off momentum and they were having all the momentum and the product was good and everything was good about it. That's why I think hopefully the NFL will be something like that, be smart to buy it. But yeah, when you have to do that and then do it all over again in a year and lose probably 80% of those people and start all over again, I don't think that's the same as just going to next season.
Now you could say you've been to a game, right?
That's right, the first St. Louis game.
Did you buy any merch?
Yeah, I bought a hoodie, and on one hand it sucks because obviously it's useless, but it's kind of cool to have it too. So
No, that's awesome to have.
especially if they do get bought by something else or become a NFL team, if we didn't get one, especially, I'd be more than happy to have that. Um, so another random thing, I didn't talk to you. How do you feel about Twin Pilot's new song?
It's good. I feel like man, it's crazy to think how quickly they put that together.
Oh, I know.
It's very cool.
I thought you'd like it a lot. One thing I didn't say last week, it reminds me kind of if like Miami Vice style or Miami Vice time period band made a current song, but they weren't washed up. They knew how to stay current and made a song. I feel like that's kind of what it sounds like, and I feel like that's why I instantly loved it and grooved to it. Because you know me, even with big bands, I usually you guys are all like, "Oh, do you love it?" And I'm like, "I don't know. I want to keep listening to it. I don't usually decide things like that right away."
I could see that, man. It almost like a Prince,
Yeah,
almost like Prince lyrics.
yeah, I can see that. Which is weird because I'm not the biggest fan of Prince. I don't dislike him, but
What? Oh, I love Prince.
really, yeah, I like a few
Yeah.
of his songs, but I've never been that into him. Um, Also, you're gonna love earlier. I didn't tell you because you were talking, but I'm not processing this camera being here like it is. I took off my slipper and totally just waved in front of the camera. Um, oh, I probably should have done this backwards. 'Cause now I'm just kind of jumping. But did you hear how they're doing the NFL draft this year?
It's virtual, right?
Yeah. It's gonna be. I thought it was a fucking Onion article. It's gonna be from Roger Goodell's basement, the commissioner of the NFL. He's gonna announce the picks there, which sounds like the most anticlimactic thing in the world. And the only thing more anticlimactic is that if you watch the draft, the most exciting thing are when the trades happen and you don't see them come in and they are like panicking to try and talk about it on ESPN because they're already dealing with all the players getting drafted. That's what creates all the nonsense. And I feel like that's gonna be the most awkward thing in the world. Yeah, Joe Burrow's taken number one by the Bengals, and the Browns just traded with the Patriots. Oh, I just don't see. And it sucks. The draft's one of my favorite things. And also, I don't think the Bengals are going to be smart to take Joe Burrow, but we'll see about that.
The
Um,
Browns trading with the Patriots is pretty accurate. There's always some weird love thing going on between those two.
yeah. Um, it's crazy, though. Did you? I don't know if you heard how they were originally going to do the draft, but somehow they got out of the fucking nonsense that they were going to do this year, but then still got into nonsense because they're going to do it in Las Vegas and they were going to do it in the middle of the Bellagio fountain. This is another article I thought was an onion article when I first read it. And then the players when they got picked were going to get on a boat and then ride over to the stage that was in the middle of the fountain. That was their idea, and somehow they got out of that because they obviously had no choice, but then somehow made it just as fucking ridiculous in a different way.
That's so cringy. That is so cringy. It's like becoming the new E3.
um, and I don't know if you heard that I think I can't remember the amount of players, but I think the top 40 players are projected to get taken. The NFL has sent them a professional kit of lighting and cameras that they want them to hook up in their house. So that way, normally when you get drafted, you get on stage and you take a picture of the commissioner and you hug him and all that. And they want to make that still happen. So they sent all these
Oh,
players
jeez.
that. And yeah, after they get drafted, all right. And then Roger Goodell is going to talk to Joe Burrow and probably fucking like this, where, all right, Joe, how? And then cut out and awkward
Okay.
fucking.
Oh, it looks like we just lost Joe.
So
One of them have like some like senile grandma that like walks on, just gets butt naked and walks on the live camera.
might be the most interesting thing. And I'm a huge fan of the draft. I'm going to watch every second of it, but it's a little depressing thinking about it now.
Do you hear these rumors that Joe Burrow wants to go to Tampa, or the Tampa might take him?
No, they have to, unless I'm right and the Bengals do skip on him, though, they're going to have to trade up because obviously the Bengals have the first choice at him.
Yeah, I think the Bengals would take him. And I'm surprised he wouldn't want to go with the Bengals, being from Ohio. Want to stay in Ohio?
Yeah, those things always come out. I don't know if it's true. Like there's a report that he didn't want to go to Cincinnati because he hates Skyline chili, but I'm pretty sure any normal human would fucking hate Skyline chili. So I don't think it has anything to do with Cincinnati.
Let's be honest. There's a worse choice than Skyline too.
Is that
What
a
is it? The
Gold Star?
Star, Gold Star. Oh my
Yeah.
God, dude. Cool part about Gold Star is you feel like you're walking into a time machine.
Um, did you see this nuts shit that Netflix is not worth more, but as far as capital, they have more capital than Disney right now.
Yeah, and it makes sense because I'm guessing with people at home streaming right now is making probably their stocks go up, and then Disney right now I think is losing. I don't know. Do you have the number? Like $30 million a day right now?
I don't have the number. I just have the number of what their capital is. It's 187 million to 186 million of Disney. So obviously, still it's only a million difference, but that's still fucking crazy.
Netflix
Or a
spends money
billion.
like
I think I said
crazy
million.
though.
Um, yeah, and I know it makes sense in a way because everybody's doing Netflix right now, but that's still weird to think about. I mean, imagine hearing, not that this can happen just based off that, but like Netflix buying Disney would be so backwards. And I know everybody's doing it with Netflix right now, but Disney Plus has to be also more popular than ever right now, I'd imagine.
Yeah, but then Netflix doesn't have like parks, empty parks right now,
Yeah,
movie studios, movies that aren't coming out, and the army of because they own all of those. I think Netflix mainly buys their stuff, so they own all
yeah.
those. Like they have all those people they're paying right now. I did see what's his name came back to Disney. I forget his name now.
Bob Iger.
Yeah, he came back.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was weird when he left, and I don't think he ever actually left. I think it was just in plan for him to leave, and then he took that off the board because I think he was still working there for 2 months or something.
Oh, was he still there?
Yeah, I think it was like a transition thing, but they just stopped the
Uh,
transition.
oh, that makes sense. I thought
Um,
he'd like had been gone for months.
I could be wrong, and everybody was reporting it like that, so I can see why you think that, but I'm pretty sure he never actually left. It was just a plan that he was gonna. Um, well, I was gonna ask you, and I was gonna ask you actually naturally, but I remembered that you told me some of this stuff. But any gaming pickups?
Ooh, yeah. So I did the GameStop thing where they're not doing so hot. So it's like, man, I better check out or use my points. So I got a $10 off coupon with my monthly $5 off coupon, and found some stuff that was on sale. And yeah, so I can go grab them real quick. Oh, now I'm actually in here. And then I got free shipping on top of that, and it was on. They were both on sale, or all four of them were on sale. Slay this. I don't know if you can see it with the lighting. It's a little weird.
Yeah,
Slay
from
the
that angle.
Spire. It's a humble bundle. So I was talking about it. Technically, wouldn't that be IGN?
Um, did they buy Humble Bundle?
I think so.
I know they bought Loot Crate or a portion of it for a while. Can't remember if they.
Let's. I can Google it real quick. Pretty certain. Let's. Who owns Humble Bundle? J2 Global. Maybe it's. What does J2 Global own?
Disney.
Dude, have I been lying to myself? I always thought IGN owned them. Maybe I'm an idiot. Yeah, maybe I'm just an idiot. So yes, I'm an idiot. IGN has nothing to do with them. I thought for sure.
Always look too hard.
Uh, and then Dreams, because of you
Yeah, there it
and
is.
some YouTubers,
No, just me. The YouTuber.
and Mega Man, some Mega Man toys, and Metroid toys. And I paid $20 for all four of them.
Not bad.
I know. I had a PayPal credit as well.
Yeah.
$20 PayPal credit.
Um, no gaming pickups for me this week, sadly. But like I said, that's actually what I expected most weeks. I can't believe I've had as many top dollars as I have.
Yeah, this podcast is supposed to be about us playing all the old stuff, and I just keep buying more.
I'm doing a mixture, so I can't judge. But I haven't actually beaten a fair amount of games, which I wasn't doing before, so that's nice. Um, what have you been playing, guy?
Witcher on Steam. It's pretty good. I know people always make fun of The Witcher because of the ridiculous sex scenes, but they're pretty ridiculous. Uh, I'm not the type of person to complain about this. Like, oh, uh, the what is it, the patriarchy or whatever? What do they call it? Chauvinistic.
Oh yeah.
But it's pretty ridiculous. She'll like kill a monster, and this girl's like, "Wow, you're so strong, so brave. Why don't you meet me by the barn over there later?" And then he just shows up, and he's like, I'm Geralt. I have no personality." She's like, "Oh my god, you're so hot. Why don't we go over here?" And then you just listen to the ridiculous sex scene, and he's like, "Thank you. Yeah, no problem." And then you just go back to killing monsters, and about 20 minutes later, someone goes like, "Well, you killed that monster." Yeah. And then they have sex. So besides that, it's a pretty good game. The combat's a little wonky, but I hear
Uh huh.
that's how Witcher games are, especially the first one. and it's taken me a little bit to get used to. But it kind of plays like an MMO, and those games are kind of the size of an MMO.
Yeah.
And then I'm playing Dragon Warrior, which very old game, but
Okay.
it's really good, and I could kind of see where Pokemon stole a lot of the same stuff from them.
Uh huh.
And I've actually been beating it too quick, so I've actually stopped playing the quest and just going around and exploring right now.
Uh huh.
Uh, what else? Oh, Warzone. When I'm not getting triggered by whoever that guy was and his orchestra of snakes. That was the worst part. Was just how he was just like so full of himself. Like, yeah, I'm really funny, and he's just full of quips. Like, man, you're walking as fast as a raccoon with two legs. It's like, what does that even mean? But his friends are just like, everything that happened in the game, there was a slight echo. And I held back. I told him once, I was like, these are the cringiest jokes I've ever heard. And I immediately felt bad. But then by the end, I was like, man, I should have said so much more. That was the worst part. I wasn't saying anything to them.
Uh huh.
I was just responding about the game and just digging in. I'll see you in the shower. It's like, who says that? It's like a villain in an 80s movie. See you in the showers? This is low key kind of gay, too. Which doesn't matter, but because he was one of those guys where he's just constantly being like, don't be gay, run in that building. What does that have to do with your sexuality if I run in this building or not? I don't want to get shot. You're down already. Clearly you ran in and died. One of those guys where everything you do is wrong and everything he does is because of you.
Uh huh.
Oh man, I got killed because you guys weren't there to help me. I was like 25 meters away from the whole game. If we were in person, I would have easily taken my keyboard off my desk and just smashed him over the head with it. It was just like, how does this person? I thought it was a prank. I was like, this has got to be someone's YouTube character.
Still
But
could be.
yeah, I'm still waiting to be on the compilation somewhere. But so besides Warzone, Witcher, Dragon, I think that's it.
I gotcha. Um, I've been playing some of the regulars: NHL, Master Chief Collection, Madden. But there's something I can add with Madden. We're doing the connected franchise I talked about. And 2 days ago, I beat Trevor in the AFC Championship game. Knocked that bitch aside on my way to the Super Bowl. And I'm going to be facing Aaron there. And he's undefeated. What would it be? Um, 18 and 0 going into the Super Bowl with his Lions against my Broncos. And I'm just going to destroy him. I can't wait. I got Lamar Jackson as my Broncos quarterback. And he's better than me at Madden by like talking fake shit. And I have so many turnovers with Lamar Jackson, but he's the leading rusher in the entire league, and he's a quarterback because that's pretty much all I do with him. And I'm really excited to play the Super Bowl against him.
This is just so weird to listen to.
Oh, it's weird when we talk about it. Like we have started a chat for it, and they're talking about like Baker Mayfield on the Jets. I'm like, what? And I'm like, oh yeah, and I had to process all these things, and I have, like I said, Lamar Jackson on my team and Ezekiel Elliott at running back, and it's the weirdest when I'm playing at the Broncos and I'm playing against Broncos players. When they're, oh, Von Miller with the sack, and they sacking me. I'm like, this is uncomfortable. I don't like this. And the one time I played against him, he got 4 sacks. I was so pissed.
So
Um,
does he have Corona?
I didn't look into it. It looked like it was true, but I'm sure it's like most, especially fucking people like him. I was gonna say most average people won't have an issue, but on top of that, they're obviously like the most healthy people you can be. So I'm sure he'll be more than fine.
Just listening to Lions 18-0. This is just weird.
He already beat me once on his way to go 18 and 0. So I'm really hoping it'll be the Patriots effect though, where they went undefeated until the Super Bowl, and that was their one loss, and it made it so much better. Um, and then besides that, I played some more Twin Breaker on the Vita, and then I played more Twin Breaker on the PS4. Me and Danielle actually played co-op and beat the whole thing, and I already beat it on my own on PS4, and then me and her beat it. co-op, and then I'm gonna try and do New Game Plus and play it on Vita some more. But I'm just shocked. Like I said, I didn't even know if I like it at all. If I did, I thought I'd play it for a little bit and that would kind of be it. But it's just so much fun. Um, Played more Borderlands 2 with Ryan co-op. Me and Derek finally beat Gears 5 in co-op.
Whoa.
Yeah, Gears is one of my favorite series, and it was too long since I played it, and I did not like that I didn't beat it. And like I said, I tried to make progress at beating games, and um, I was like, yo, if you want to play this game, we gotta do it because I gotta beat this game, and we did it, and it's a lot of fun. I think the gameplay is the best Gears has ever been, the most fluid it's been. I would say visually and graphics are best they've ever been. There is some weird stuff though, without spoiling anything. Like in the campaign, they have these weird open world sections, which is the last thing that I would want or expect in a Gears game. So I wasn't a fan of that, and there is a lot of like weird stuff that didn't happen in Gears games, like where they don't direct you towards certain things. So a lot of times you're just wandering, and a couple weird glitches that we have. I feel like glitches were always a part of Gears. Um, so I don't know. It's weird because in some ways it's better than ever has been, but then in other ways there's things they added that I don't know why they did. I don't know how much, if any at all, you played a Gears 5.
Zero.
Zero. I still, we didn't get any of the collectibles or play Insane, and it's on Game Pass. So if you want to go through it, I'm definitely down. And I think I got most of it, but like the story wise, I mean, but it was so spaced out that it couldn't hurt to play it again. I think there was another thing that was better than before was the storytelling. Actually, it seemed more meaningful, and you cared about some of it. There were still the dumbass moments, but they actually did find a way to make some of it more meaningful, which was surprising in a Gears game. I feel like the games have had some moments like that. Like Gears 3 did good at that, but for the most part, the story is utter nonsense. And every time I try and have a touching moment, it's ruined by a shitty one liner 2 seconds later. Um, then playing some more Warzone. And then I started Hellblade because I've heard really good things about it. And I love uh, Enslaved. That was another Ninja Theory game. But I only played like an hour, so I can't really say how I feel about it. It's interesting, but it's not really what I expected. Have you played Hellblade?
No, but it's definitely on the backlog.
Yeah, oh, um, it's definitely interesting, and visually it was really cool. And like I said, I loved Enslaved and think they're a cool developer, so um, I'll give it more of a chance. But nothing's really caught me too much about it, especially for all the love it was getting. And the main gist of it, at least so far, is that you do these puzzles where you're moving around the environment, and in the environment there's shapes that you have to line up with these things you're seeing in your head, which is cool in theory because it'll be like um, four sticks that kind of make like a letter, but it's in this big world, so you gotta find it. So it sounds cool in theory, but it doesn't actually line up correctly. So I was looking at where I thought was this letter, and I was staring at it for like 10 minutes. I'm like, what the hell? This has to be it. And then I got online because I told you I don't like looking puzzles up, but I do if I feel like I can't get past playing a game. Like Portal's one of my favorite games, but there's no way I was gonna figure all that game out on my own, and it wasn't worth it for me not to finish that game just to not look a puzzle up. But the weird part was when I looked up in Portal, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. How am I so stupid? But this game, I looked it up and it was literally how I was doing it. But where the letter is or where it should be is not where it's actually made in the game. So I was at the right spot. I was doing the right thing, but you have to line up a little off center and not make it look how it's supposed to be. So I hope that's
So you
not a normal
missed.
thing because, yeah, I feel like that's a really bad design. I don't know how this game's getting so much praise if that's normal. But like I
Yeah,
said,
I don't
like,
like puzzles.
yeah, yeah. Like I said, it is cool an idea, but if that's how it's actually executed, and that's not wasn't just like a one-off thing, I don't know how long I can deal with that nonsense. Um, But that's all for me this week. What have you been watching, Guy? I know you told me you just started Onward.
Holy cow, man! I if I mentioned every movie I watched,
Oh yeah, yours a bit longer now. I wasn't thinking.
holy cow! It makes me realize how much I actually watch. Let's see. Tiger King had a new episode out, which I'm kind of pissed that they even call that a new episode. That was terrible. It wasn't bad. It just wasn't a new episode.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I kind of expected that. I didn't watch it, but I heard it was like a talk show kind of thing. But I kind of expected it couldn't be a new episode. I thought at best it may be like it's a documentary, so I figured they probably filmed a ton of stuff that didn't make it in. So I thought maybe it'd be like extra footage. But yeah, I heard it's like a
I,
talk show.
well, that's exactly what I was expecting, and I heard that they actually missed a lot, um, and then I realized, Casey, I watched this guy like 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, it clicked because when I was watching his dash hounds with the lion, the disabled lion, I was like, I used to watch this guy on YouTube or Facebook. And I went back and was like, oh my God, yeah, this is this is Tiger King. I used to watch him. He's had some viral videos.
Um,
So I went back and watched some YouTube videos of his. Uh yeah.
so
Um
I don't think you're a fan
had
of.
your what's sorry, go ahead.
I think you're about to say it. I think you're not a fan of Joel McHale. I heard he was a host.
Yep.
Was
Yep.
was he
What I was
funny
about to
or?
say, it had your boy on it. I
Uh,
don't know, man. I don't think he's ever funny. There, I said it. Somebody shoot me.
well, you're lying. Because even if you don't like him in like the Soup or something, you know he's funny in Ted.
I don't really remember him in Ted.
Really played the giant asshole that he went to their party or he invited them to their party and he invited Mark Wahlberg and his girlfriend because he clearly wanted to get with Mark Wahlberg's girlfriend and
Oh
invited
yeah.
both of them though. And when he opens the door, oh hey guys, how's it going? Good, how are you? Oh, this mansion's fucking huge, and whispers under his breath. Oh, this is so great. He's doing the douche perfect.
Yeah, it was him and webcam interviews with that one guy I wanted to shoot in the head. The Have you watched the whole show?
Yeah, just not the after show.
With the one that is dating the really young girl and pretends he's rich and wears the same Oakley hat over and over again,
Yeah,
and
Jeff Lowe.
Affliction. Yeah, Affliction shirt. Dude, that when he said, "Yeah, get you back in the gym," I could have just a katana, just shoulder, just sink, just could have lopped that head right off. What a piece of shit! That wearing that nasty, that Oakley hat is just full of sweat, and then he's leasing a goddamn mansion up there. And I, why did she sit there and take that? And this whole like him becoming an internet meme is like going to his head.
Yeah.
But I guess you're supposed to hate him, right? And Carol Baskin, she's man, what a group of people. Could you? I don't get it, dude. I don't. It's weird thinking that this amount of just oddities all just connected. And then that slick back hair guy, the ponytail,
Yeah.
that that's disgusting. Him inviting those girls out there, they're like 16, and he's like grooming them, and he only wants virgins. Like, is nobody questioning this stuff? Like, how crazy the cancel culture is right now, and then the same people that do cancel culture are celebrating these just shit shows. I love shit shows, and I think it's great. Some of the best television, but I don't get how they're turning a blind eye to it. If
No,
it's
I'm
just
with
such
you.
a train wreck that there's nobody to cancel because they would just cancel this entire great show. I don't get it, man. I'm trying to think of the redeeming people on there. You have the guy that likes race cars, the guy that stayed on, and then uh, I guess it's a guy I'm reading online that is actually transgender. The guy that lost the arm.
Oh,
I think
I thought that
those
was.
are the What's that?
I thought that was a girl the whole time.
Well, that was the thing. People were freaking out. The documentary presented him as a girl, but I guess transgender. They used the they used the wrong name. They used her first name,
Huh.
and then, of course that's the thing the cancel culture freaks out on.
Uh-huh.
But meanwhile, I was like, did you miss the part where the guy was grooming 16-year-olds, or the guy that looks like he's a geriatric and he's over there complaining about his incredibly attractive girlfriend being fat? Did you guys miss all that and just went straight for the makers of the documentary? Um, yeah, I think spoiler alert. So if you haven't watched it, don't watch it, dude. I did an audible gasp when the accidental
Oh.
suicide.
Yeah. I'm glad they at least didn't show it, but that's something I was gonna say because I watched it as well, and that was one of the things I was gonna talk about when I got to what I was watching. But yeah, you realize most of these people are fucking terrible. I know when we talked, you're like, I don't know. You ought to tell me who you like, because I think you're gonna like Joe. I think you'll see a lot of his side. And I think for the insane people, he was maybe the most sane. But maybe you said that before you got too far into it, because I feel like um, he was a lot more at the beginning, more likable and understandable. But as it went on, I felt like he got not as bad as them because they were worse. But I don't feel like he was much better. I feel like it's kind of comparing like fucking two terrible things and which one's a little better. But yeah, that's I can't believe they showed it, but I'm really glad they didn't at least like actually show it. It was bad enough seeing that, like the reaction, but I'm glad they didn't have a camera angle of it happening with no warning. But that's the thing I was gonna say. As bad as all these people are, and as enjoyable as it was, I feel like one of the most messed up things that nobody's talking about is how fucked up this guy is that made all this, and fucked all these people over and showed how it's okay to show they're crazy, but like stuff like that. I don't know if you heard the family members of that guy that killed himself said that they didn't know it was going to happen. And they were watching the documentary, and they like lost their minds when they got to that scene because there's no heads up on it or anything, and it just happened, and they had no idea it was going to be in the documentary. And I feel like that's almost just as messed up. Obviously, not like in a crazy way like these people were, but the guy that made it, I feel like, is just as messed up in a different way as these people.
Um, yeah, I probably would have given them a warning for sure, but I think you got to present it as real as possible. Like I think that was the messed up and the best part of the documentary. I forgot that guy. I like him a lot too, the libertarian.
Yeah.
But no, I love Joe. And just out of that messed up group, he's the one that's in prison. Are you shitting me?
Oh yeah, that's obviously nonsense.
What? That makes no sense. I hate. That's the only problem that I have with. That's why I like Joe so much. Is it's like, are you shitting me? This is who's in prison. Is him?
No, I definitely agree with that. Um, I was like, man, I am gonna like him at the beginning. I was like, yeah, he's pretty likable, but then I feel like you started seeing the crazy, just like everybody, even though he's obviously always crazy, but like in a bad way, like the other ones. But yeah, obviously they all should have been. Um, but I don't know. It's all nuts.
If you want to go down that road too, if you want to continue on good documentaries on some weird people, one of the editors for Sam Hyde, this guy that kind of got blackballed off of YouTube and Adult Swim,
Yeah.
$1 Million Extreme. One of his editors has a YouTube channel called Trapped, and he put a couple of his documentaries on there. I watched both of those on a couple YouTubers. If you look up, I think it's the YouTube channel is just called Trapped. He's got a couple on King Cobra, and then these two brothers. I don't know if they're autistic or what they are, but they're pretty out there, man. It's amazing. I watched both of those. I've been rewatching Roseanne.
Hmm.
I love that show. It's probably my favorite. I hate sitcoms, but that's probably the best television. Uh, so I'm about while I was doing the game room, I watched a couple seasons of that. I know I've watched some movies here and there. I watched your is it American Mayor per your
Yeah.
recommendation?
Uh-huh.
That was pretty good, man. Kind of brought some insight into local politics
Yeah. Yeah, it's
and how
crazy.
dirty it can be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no doubt. And like I said, it is crazy, though. Even, I know it's a small city and very small scale, but somebody like that mostly seems like they're fucking around can actually make a difference. It's kind of crazy.
Well, I think local elections are way more. No one votes in them,
Oh, yeah, you
and
could tell by the totals.
it's so sad. Their importance wise, though, I think they have greater effect on you than a presidential election.
Yeah.
Like especially because one of the guys running is actually from Capital.
Yeah.
That was like, guys, just not a red flag for anybody. That was so dirty. Um, what else, man? I think that's about all I've been watching. I've watched. Oh, I started watching. I'm not finished with it yet, but one of the guys that worked on what was the Tonight Show? What was the guy that used to be on there?
Jay Leno,
No, maybe it's the other talk show.
David Letterman.
Yeah, David Letterman. One of his joke writers made a documentary on. Uh, I've heard of industrial films, but never industrial musicals. I didn't even know these were a thing. Let me get the name of this documentary before I forget here. It's pretty good. It's essentially like you would go to these meetings. They did them all the way through the 80s, like 50s to 80s or whatever. They get all the managers together, and then they would pay these people a crazy amount of monies to put on real musicals. And I guess if you like musicals, these are pretty catchy, but he just did them because they were funny, and he wasn't a musical fan. It's called
Hmm.
Bathtubs on Broadway. I think it's what it's called. Yeah. You see, it's on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. Bathtubs over Broadway, and it's about him collecting. Because when you left there, you would either get like a tape or a record,
Uh,
and it's about him preserving these um, industrial musicals. And sometimes there's like only one copy left in the world,
uh-huh.
and it's him going around and meeting people that made them. And you think like, why the hell would you give a shit about industrial musicals?
Yeah.
But he's preserving it, and it's right up my alley, and it
I
was good.
gotcha.
So I recommend it. It's on Netflix.
Okay. Um, so I have been watching The Walking Dead. I'm actually, I think, only 6 episodes away from being caught up with where it's at currently, which is crazy to me. Um, and I'm liking it a lot. I think I talked about last episode, so I don't want to be redundant if you remember. But I think it's really good. But I feel like I don't know if you remember the season finale of season 9. I felt like it was very anticlimactic for what it was building up to. But I feel like season 10 is building off of that and hopefully going to a really cool place. But like I said, I'm actually excited to watch it again, not just like, oh, I got to put this on to get caught up, which is how it was for so many seasons of that show. Um,
Maybe it was the mid-season finale with the heads.
no, I thought that was the episode. I just thought that was really cool and why I thought the ending would be crazy because that wasn't the mid season finale. That was the heads was 2 episodes or 1 episode away from the season finale, and then the season finale
Uh,
happened, and that's why I was like, "That's crazy." And then the season finale, nothing really happened, and I was like, "Huh, that was weird." But like I said, I'm really enjoying it, which is a nice change up for that show. Me and Daniel watched Hop for Easter, that classic movie, you know.
oh yeah.
Hmm. Um, that's the only time I could watch that movie. It's not bad for just a fun Easter movie, but outside that, I couldn't do it. Um, watched the 2 episodes of Lost from last week. I haven't watched tonight's yet, obviously, but I watched those. Have you watched them yet?
Of what?
Lost.
Oh, Lost. Sorry, I kind of cut out. What were the numbers?
This was 15 and 16, I think, today, so 13 and 14.
I watched 13 and 14.
I think that's right. Um, I don't think we can spoil anything for Lost, but heads up if you need a spoiler warning. But what happened last? Do you remember? I don't
Building
know.
the army. They're
Okay.
claiming they're gonna take the guns. Saeed tortured that guy. Um, I don't really remember. Hold on, let me get a refresher here. Boom. Yeah. Yeah. Then Hurley and Sawyer track down the frog, and he smashes it.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you're caught. Besides tonight episodes, then. Um. So the guy that is in the hatch. How do you feel about him?
The guy that's in the hatch.
I think it's
Oh, the guy that they've torturing.
yeah.
I don't know, man. I can't tell. I mean, it's just you feel like you're on the show, like you don't know what that guy's up to.
Yeah, I'm not. I try not to even talk about stuff like this because I feel if I'm like, well, we'll see, or say anything a certain way, you're like, oh, I know what's gonna happen. But that's what I was wondering. Because that's all I was gonna say is that I won't say how I'm feeling now or whatever. I was telling you at the time. I felt the exact same way. I was like, I don't know if this guy. He sounds like he could be telling the truth. He sounds like he could be fucking lying. I have no fucking idea. And like in real life, you'd be like, I want to trust this guy, but you'd also like you've seen the show, has so many people betray you that you're like, I don't fucking, I'm gonna kill this guy.
Yeah,
So I'm glad you're in
most
the same
definitely.
boat because yeah, I had no fucking clue. Um, the only other things I watched was the Tiger King. I finished it besides the final one, the after show. And the only thing I was gonna add about I knew I was losing my train of thought when I was talking about Joe and them all being terrible people. I feel like he's maybe less terrible, but he's still terrible. The one thing I will say that I feel like gives him a little bit more credit, leeway, I don't know what you want to say, is I feel like, I mean, it was a documentary, so maybe the other people they didn't position well enough and maybe they had messed up stuff happen, but at least as far as the documentary showed, I feel like he had the most unfortunate events and shit that would change somebody's life. That even if they were kind of normal or kind of a good person, that they could start to go crazy and not know what they were doing anymore.
No, most definitely, man.
Um, and then the only other thing I watched was Chapter 27, which is the movie about John Lennon's assassination with Jared Leto. I don't know if you ever saw it.
No.
It wasn't bad. It was I thought it'd be better though. It was kind of weird. And do you remember Nathan from South Park, the like disabled douchey kid? If you look up a picture of Nathan South Park, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And this is exactly what Jared Leto reminded me of. So it was a little hard to take serious when it's him about to assassinate John Lennon, and I'm picturing this fucking guy.
Yeah, I
He,
remember. And then his sidekick,
uh,
eyeballs.
yeah, it sounded a lot like him and kind of looked like him. So it was really hard to take this movie serious. But even aside, it wasn't just that. I feel like that. Obviously, my feelings about it, and it's really depressing, but it still could be a really interesting story. I probably didn't really tell it that great. Um, you might like. I don't know. I feel like you might have the same complaints that you might think it's interesting, but not the most or best done way. Um, what's
I'm
up?
just thinking about that character now.
Yeah, you should watch a movie for that alone because that'll make you laugh.
I can hear his voice in my head.
um, and I actually missed talking about last week. I watched it last week was Onward, which I won't spoil
Oh,
anything because I know you're watching it now, and I'm sure a lot of people haven't watched it. I'll just tell you my overall views like I would have last week, and it conflicts with what you already told me you're feeling. So I'll see how you feel after it's over. But I definitely don't think it's bad. But it looks like you're jacking off right now. Um, I know you're not. I know you can see what's happening, and later you're gonna
let
see
me
that.
recreate this just so I can see. Oh no! Twitch, clip that.
um, but I definitely don't think it's bad. But for a Pixar movie, they're like my favorite. I think like as good as animation gets right now. I think it's actually one of my least favorites of theirs. Still, like I said, that's better than 90% of animated movies, but it's actually one of my least favorite. I thought the animation I didn't think was very impressive, which that's the one thing I didn't really think about. I thought that would be fine because they're always good, but I think movies like Wall-E or some movies like that look better than that movie, and that's like 10 years old at this point. So I feel like that's kind of odd that the animation doesn't look as good as even those movies. And then the story is, without spoiling anything, because I don't want to go into the end or anything, I just feel like not that Pixar movies are so unpredictable, but they usually have a lot of like weight to them if they aren't predictable. And this one just didn't really do it. It happened. And I was like, oh, that was kind of. Well, I won't say anything. I was like, oh, that was whatever. And then that was kind of it. But seems like you're already loving it, and I never loved it at any point. So maybe you'll feel different than me. And I feel like that's been the rash for most people. Most people fucking love it and think it's one of their best. So I might be in the minority on it. And I would think maybe that was my expectations going into it because I saw the trailers when it was in the theaters and I thought that exact thing. Oh, this doesn't look very good for a Pixar movie. But I don't think that did change my mind because I thought about Good Dinosaur, and Good Dinosaur ended up being one of my favorite Pixar movies. So I think I could definitely separate it if I was seeing it. But that one just, nothing stuck out for me, unfortunately.
It's funny too because we're about I don't know halfway through it right now,
Uh huh.
and Renee even was like, "Yeah, this is a very Cody movie." I was like, "What do you
Oh,
mean?"
really?
Yeah, and I know the character is voiced by Chris Pratt,
Yeah.
but that feels like Jack Black.
Oh, I could see that, yeah.
If this was live action, that'd be Jack Black. And I'm having a good time. It's fun. It's a fun movie.
I hear you. Not you in particular. I'm wondering how much of it is that kind of like the effect of like I was talking about with Stranger Things and Tiger King and all these. I wonder if this movie just came out in the theaters, if this many people would have this strong reactions towards it, or it's the fact that everybody has it on Disney Plus and it's like the first big thing to come to that everybody just gets. That I feel like that's definitely messing with people's expectations. I think when you finish the story for a certain amount of people, it will connect a lot more and mean a lot more. But I don't think for majority of people, I don't really get what's making it so special.
You know what's funny is I haven't heard either way on this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't heard anybody's opinions.
Huh? That's nuts. Cause yeah, I've only heard really good things. Danielle liked it, but we watched together and she kind of felt like me. She's like, yeah, it's really good, but I thought it'd be better. But she said the same thing. She's like, everybody on Instagram and Twitter would not stop talking about how it's the best hit Pixar movie ever, and that's
Really?
yeah, and that's everything I was seeing too.
I do have one complaint.
Uh huh.
So far, the trailer has spoiled way too much.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
See, Renee hadn't heard anything about this. Hadn't
Oh
even
really?
watched the trailer. So like they're going over all this. Like she's like, "Oh my god, this is so sad," and not realizing, and then not, the the integral part of the story. Didn't realize that. So kind
Integrity.
of integrity farms. I wish that it would be possible for me to avoid trailers. They just tell too much, man. Which
Yeah,
I heard the new Final Fantasy remake. I heard there's a massive spoiler in the last trailer for that.
I'm kind of in the middle of that. I think trailers definitely do that, and it's gotten worse. But I still fucking love trailers and as a premise and a good trailer that like teases, not like a literal teaser trailer, but a trailer that teases something well. I think that's perfect. Like I would not like if there's just no trailers anymore, but yeah, I think they definitely could maybe use more editing or somebody that really cares about story to be like, yo, this shouldn't be in here,
Exactly.
or just
I
do
hope
like
that's how he says
trailers,
it too. Yo, this shouldn't be in here.
or do like trailers used to do. I don't really want this, but just fucking lie about what's in the movie and just give you a fake trailer. Um, let's see. Oh, I heard a noise. Was that you, honey?
You're creeping me out. No.
Uh oh. Well, don't worry then. You're fine. Um, so it's probably that
Seven
fucking
creepy
hideous
things that
shirt.
happen to Twitch streamers live on Twitch. Number one.
Um, oh, that's one I miss. I'm glad he's somehow that reminded me of it. But I've been playing Dreams, of course, and I'm liking it quite a bit. Like I told you, I've never played anything like Dreams, and even the campaign, I didn't really expect much of, but it seems really interesting. And some of the shit people I've seen already made in there is so crazy, and I've only kind of like dabbled into it, but it seems nuts, and I'm excited to play more of it.
What do you think of the Tommy Wiseau thing I sent you?
Oh, that's fucking great.
Oh hi. Oh hi, Mark. And there's just a rag doll just thrown into the chairs.
um, let's see. Oh, so the reminder for the free games this month or this week, you got on Xbox One, Knights of Pen and Paper bundle.
Whoa, did you just turn on your Xbox?
It did it by itself. Pretty terrifying, right?
There's
Oh,
definitely ghosts.
I bet you I know what it was. I just said Xbox. I think the Connect probably heard me because it happened right when I said it. Um, but yeah, Knights of Pen and Paper bundle till April 15th, and Project Cars 2 till April 30th. And then on 360, you got Toy Box Turbos until April 30th. And then PS Plus is Uncharted 4 and Dirt Rally 2.0. And then did you hear they also, aside from PlayStation Plus, they put out the Uncharted collection and Journey for free for everybody till May 5th.
I did. That's such a good deal.
Yeah, you don't even have to have PlayStation Plus to get them either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so even people who don't pay for online could get all those.
I said I didn't know that. I said such a good deal as if it, and then here it is free. Such a good deal for nothing.
Um, I don't got any this week. You got any fake outrage, bud?
Actually,
Uh
but
oh.
I have a game to add to your free.
Oh, I thought you were giving us some fake outrage. Okay,
Sorry, didn't help
that's
you too
okay.
excited. Manual Samuel.
I'm sorry.
Free Manual Samuel. It's free on Humble Bundle right now. For the
Oh, so
next, you have 2 hours, 2 days, and 12 hours.
I was gonna say 2 hours, so this won't even be up at that point.
2 days and 12 hours, and all you got to do is go sign up for the newsletter.
Okay,
And
well you
if
said.
you
Oh, please go
are
ahead.
gaming on a budget, Humble Bundle is your friend. So go check that out. The game looks kind of generic and okay, but it kind of reminds me of Ren and Stimpy animations.
Huh.
Not as cool, but on the same style. Mixed with the Guitar Hero, the original Guitar Hero animations. I don't know how else to explain it.
Okay.
So it's free, so you might as well just go try it. It's normally $10, and you link your Steam account, and then it's yours.
Oh, mine. Um,
Yep. And I do not have fake outrage, man. I've been trying, and I just things I think of, I just feels forced, and I don't like it.
no, that's okay. That's why I told you we can address it. Try and address every week, but if we can't think of it, I don't want to do it. But that's why I don't know how these people are fucking always so outraged. 3 weeks in a row, I can't think of anything when I'm trying to think of fake shit. Um, you talked about Ren and Stimpy. That reminded me. Did you hear me talking about Animaniacs last week?
No, I don't think so.
Um, did you hear they're bringing it back to Hulu? I think on September 14th they're redoing it with all the original cast.
Wow.
I don't know if you're
I
an
need
Animaniacs
to.
guy, but I was big time.
Of course. What was the? I'm trying. The reason I'm trying to remember what that block was called. WB Kids.
Yeah,
Is that
but
what it was?
Animaniacs was like a kind of like a combination of all the shows together, almost like a skit kind of show.
I used to watch it, man.
Yeah. Pinky and the Brain was
Just
my favorite, but I used to watch all of it.
Pinky in the Brain. Oh my god. Because it had the kids. The uh Were they called W? What the hell is that called, man? They're gonna have to make me look it up. What were they called?
You're not thinking of, I don't know if it cut out. I said Animaniacs. Is that what you?
But the kids' names though.
Oh, God, I don't remember what they were. I know what you're talking about, but
Used to, yeah, I definitely watched it on WB Kids. What the fuck were they called? That's gonna bother me now. Um, huh. Well, you know, Wikipedia just told me they had a. Oh, I do remember. Then the SNES, they had a video game.
oh, yeah. You're talking about Pinky and the Brain.
No, Animaniacs.
Oh, did it? I just remember Pinky and
Mm-hmm.
the Brain, but maybe that's because it was part of it and that was my favorite, so I played it.
Oh man, you remember Tiny Toon Adventures?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It's another good one. Muppet Babies.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm gonna look up WB Kids and let's look at their lineup. Get Pinky and the Brain, Animaniacs, Jackie Chan Adventures, Mucho Lucho. Did you ever watch that? Ah, that was a good one.
I don't think so.
Freakazoid. You remember Freakazoid?
Yeah, I remember that.
The X-Men one, X-Men Evolutions, Batman Beyond.
Beyond.
Oh, here's a good one, Casey. Ready for it? Static Shock. You remember that?
I don't, at least by the name.
Zalin Showdown, Jackie Chan Adventures, Uncle. Yeah, Cubics. Oh, Cubics was on there. I forgot all about Cubics.
Yeah, that was a little later in the Animaniacs, but yeah, I fucking love Cubics.
I'm trying to. I feel like there was a name for them. I'm losing my mind now. I think. Hmm. I don't know. Sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good, buddy. I was really excited about that because I used to love Animaniacs, especially Pinky and the Brain, and the fact they have all the original cast and everything, creators, I feel like is makes me 10 times more excited for it.
I didn't know there was a film. Did you know there was a movie?
No, was it like straight TV probably?
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
the one Wackos Wish. I think that was like I keep wanting to say WB Kids because it's named the channel, but I think that was actually their name.
huh?
Like Warner Bros. Kids or something like that. I don't know. That was their thing though.
Yeah,
Sorry, okay. Well, let me just fucking hijack the show for 20 seconds as I get stuck on Wikipedia. That's exciting though, man.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I
I
watched
was
way
I
too much
didn't.
Pinky and the Brain as a
You watched a
kid.
lot of it.
Oh yeah.
I
Um,
wasn't super into it, but
yeah, you always make fun of well, you like it, but when me and Danielle do dumb shit, she I think like Pinky and the Brain, but I don't even know. It's just a fucking skit now. I'll embarrass myself on here and do the voice just to add to it. Pretty often I come downstairs and I'm like, "Gee, Brian, what are we gonna do today?" And then she's like, "Same thing we do every day, Pinky. Try and take over the
the
world."
world.
And we just there's no reason for it, but we do that pretty often. Like I said, I was gonna say she likes it, but I only know she fucking knows that because of me now. Or but it's a pretty reoccurring thing that happens.
I can hear his voice in my head right now.
Uh, yeah, both of them are just, and that theme song is so good. It's all stuck in my head. So yeah, I watched way too much as a kid.
That's a
Um,
good block.
oh yeah. Um, I think that's pretty much it though, guy. I was gonna do some ranting about the big the big Rona as the kids are calling it now, but I know you gotta watch your movie if you want. I'm definitely cool if you want to stay, but if you want to hop out, I can even just do that and then end the episode.
Did you? Let me end on this.
Okay.
Did you see Gears Tactics?
Oh, I did.
Did you mention that on last? Is that where I heard that?
I didn't talk about it. I know about it, but no, I didn't talk about it last week.
Yeah, it's it looks like XCOM.
Yeah. When does that come out?
Uh, I don't know if they'll do it now, but this month, buddy, in
I was gonna
10
say
days.
I knew it was soon. They might, cause I don't even. I doubt that was gonna get a physical release. I guess I don't know.
I don't think so because I feel like everybody be promoting it, like to buy it.
Yes, I feel like that'd be even more smart to release it now. Because if they weren't doing physical, I feel like the digital sales will only be higher if anything.
I'll play it though, man. That story, that it sounds cool. You run your own team and then you recruit. It's just like XCOM, recruiting people. I'll play it, especially because Gears Pop didn't hold me
Yeah.
for very long.
Um, is that PC only or is that coming to Xbox?
I'd admit it's got to come to Xbox, right?
Oh, I
Yeah, it's
think.
Xbox,
Okay.
Xbox and Windows,
Um,
Microsoft Windows.
well, before we go, I thought of one thing. I'd held my finger up like that matters. But when we were talking about the controller, I meant to talk to you more about it. We got stuck talking about the fucking mic situation. So, what do you think that means for the console? Do you think the console's gonna be a normal looking PlayStation, or do you think it's gonna be the leaks that we've been seeing, or what do you think?
I think they're gonna get weird with it, man. I think it's that thing that we saw. I think it's gonna be some variation of that.
That's what I think too. I think that was probably a prototype of it, so I think it'll look a lot more refined and nicer. But I didn't believe at first because you know those things always come out, and especially during times like this. So I just didn't even think of it. But then after I seen that controller, that's what made it a lot more believable. Because I feel like it'd be extra weird to release such a different futuristic looking controller, and then put out another normal looking PlayStation. I feel like that only makes sense if the console's gonna look way different too.
Oh, most definitely.
So you're not a big fan of the looks of the controller though itself,
Not really.
really? I was surprised
Yeah.
it was when they said it. Only took a couple of seconds at first. I thought it was literally a leak. I was like, "What is this shit? This is or not a leak, but um, like clickbait or another fake leak." But then after I saw it was on a real thing, I was like, "Ah, this is actually kind of interesting. I like it."
Really?
Oh yeah. Um, there's definitely some things I would change about it, but yeah, overall, I really like it.
I hear in Japan they like smaller controllers. Is my understanding. I think that's why. I don't know. It's like one of the many reasons you think like the Xbox doesn't do well over there, especially the first one.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they're gonna have a different one for them, or if what the pictures we're seeing is just looks bigger than what I'm thinking in my mind,
Yeah, I feel
or
like
what the real thing.
it is hard to judge because there's no comparison, but I feel like looking at it, it does seem closer to the size of a Xbox controller, which
So
I'd be okay with.
we'll see. I'm I'm sure I'll still buy it, of course.
Yeah. So we talked about it a couple times. Do you think these consoles still come out this year?
Just because I listened to the McCaffrey, or was it Ryan McCaffrey interview
Yeah.
with Phil Spencer,
Uh huh.
just what Phil Spencer had to say about it, which he has to say those things. Seeing his point of view, yeah, I say they're still coming out on time.
Huh. Um. Yeah, it could be. I might be reading too much into it, and yeah, I heard that too. And but like you said, I do think they have to say that, and I think what he was saying wasn't completely BS. I do think what he said made sense, but I still feel like even if the production is going well and these factories are open, I don't know what kind of spending money people are going to have. And I know that sales at the beginning aren't the most important because they end up making money later in the cycle. But I feel like if there's not a strong launch, there's probably not going to be a strong finish because it picks up and gets better because word of mouth and everybody's, oh, you don't have this, you need to get one. And if there's not a huge initial launch with people doing that, I think it's going to take a lot longer to get to that point.
Yeah, 100%. It's a weird, man. We'll see.
Yeah, they both said they are releasing, so like I said, all indications are that, and it is produced in China, and most factories I hear are opening up there, so it should. But I just have to still have this feeling that they're not gonna, which would suck, but at the same time, I would totally be okay with.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where I stand with it now.
Yeah,
I mean, I think so, but then it's like with the money people are getting to in the mail
yeah,
or getting in their accounts now. Did you get your stimulus check, buddy?
I did. I wonder how many people have those left by November, though. I don't think much people have their money left.
No, I doubt it.
Which that's probably when these consoles will come out.
Just
Well,
save your
when they're
money, put
supposed
it
to.
towards your debt. Don't buy something dumb with it.
Um, but I think that's all for the normal show, guy. If I said if you want to stick around and discuss nonsense, you totally can. I'm not like kicking you out. It's not like the me only part. I just don't want to bore you to death. And I know you got stuff to do tonight.
All right, buddy. Well, I'll hit you up then.
Okay, sounds good.
Play
I
some
don't know.
Warzone.
Yeah. Oh, now you're doing double dicks on your face.
Ah! Hey,
Uh,
Twitch, go ahead and clip that.
I don't know when
Why
you
do I do
leave.
that?
When you leave, it might create like this really awkward empty box and just me sitting here with this empty box. But this is our test run, so I guess we'll see how it goes.
We'll see it. We'll see you guys later then.
All right, I'll see you, buddy.
Cody out.
All right, so there's Cody.
Psych, I never left.
Oh man,
Ah!
twist! Okay, we're gonna slide that guy out of here. I'll reposition this guy. All right, it's just me and you, like it has been the past few weeks. Time to get in some virus numbers, the fun stuff. The boring show's over. Cody's gone. So let's talk some numbers. Ohio is up to 8,100 cases, and we are at average of the past 15 days of 400 cases per day for Ohio. And at this point, we're supposed to be at 1,700 a day. And our new peak, which is April 19th, is supposed to be, or no, sorry, yeah, we're supposed to be at 1,500 a day right now because the new peak is 1,600 a day on the 19th of this month, so 3 days from now. And we just had 400 new cases today. So in 3 days, apparently we're going to jump 1,200 cases. So we're That's just not going to happen. And they have also changed the way they're doing it, clearly to pad their numbers because it's never going to get to what they said. Because they started adding to their total cases by one of them makes sense. Like I said, I'm trying to talk about it as fair as possible because I'm not trying to argue a point or say I'm automatically right. I'm just trying to talk through this and not have the same conversation that everybody has to have. They added so I guess the initial testing was if you've ever had the flu or extreme sickness, they do this awful swab that they stick up your nose, and it feels like it touches your brain, and it's an experience that or a feeling that I can't explain unless you've done it, but it's fucking awful. And I guess that's how the testing was done, and the results took up to 2 weeks to get back. So they have a faster testing, which is like a prick of the finger. So like if you have diabetes, um, and that's supposed to give way faster results. So they added that to the totals, which that makes sense. But then they also added probable cases, but they don't call it that. They just add into the total cases, which is anybody that they think was around somebody that was positive, they add to their numbers. So if a nursing home has it, if one person has it, and there's 500 people working there, all 500 of them get added. Not that that's the scenario, but that's what they are doing now. So clearly pad their numbers because there is no way you can just assume that all those people have it. And a nursing home probably wasn't the best example because that's more likely that those people would have it, but still no sure thing. And then the initial peak was supposed to be early May at 10,000. Like I said, it's at 1,600 now for 3 days from now. And America's case average per day is at 29,000 right now. But yet, 2 weeks from now, initially, Ohio is supposed to be averaging 10,000, even though the entire country is averaging less than 30,000 right now. So I don't see any way that they either are lying or need to be honest that the science and all the things they're not allowed to talk about should clearly be allowed to be talked about and not just a set in stone kind of thing. And some things changed even as recent as today as to what I was going to talk about because um, the past 4 days there have been protests at the state house when they were doing these readings. You could or when they were doing these announcements, and you could hear them through their announcements because they were right outside the window screaming at them. And the first day it started as like 20 people, and the news reported it as a giant crowd, which it wasn't, and people called out on that. But then every day it was more, and then today there was like almost 300 people there. And the point of that is that you're always gonna have those crazy people. Like there's people there that are clearly there for attention. There's people there with their anonymous mask and doing things just to fucking be trolls or whatever. You're always gonna have those kind of people. So I'm not defending those people. And also, like I talked about in the past, I feel like even if you have these kind of views, it doesn't help to double down and try and do the opposite and gather together and do all these things that you can easily avoid. Even if you don't think it might not be true, you could still do your best to do common sense things and to not try and irritate things. And so that's what the whole talk is about now. All of these people are worthless and that they don't care about everybody and that they're all a bunch of losers. Which, like I said, I think a certain portion are definitely trolls and people that just want attention. But I think it's pretty disingenuous and pretty hypocritical to talk like that because all these people are saying that because that means people clearly don't care about older people and people that could be affected by it. But on the same account, these people are saying that to these people that many of them are not doing it just for attention or to be a troll. They're doing it because their entire livelihood is gone. And then they make the argument, okay, but this person's actual life is going to be gone. But the difference is that it's not a livelihood that they want to watch sports again or that they want to go to a bar or whatever. I'm sure they want to do those things. That's nice, but livelihood as far as literally existing, they some of these places have small businesses that are not can't last much longer if we just go into who knows how long of this. Some of them have jobs they've lost and won't get back, and eventually need medicine or need whatever, and they're gonna die. So, like I said, I think it's pretty hypocritical and disingenuous to talk like that, and also, um, I think just reinforces the thing that most of these people that are preaching this kind of stuff don't actually mean what they say and just want to say it to say it. Like, kind of hinting at last time, but um, people talk about how when this is over, things are going to be different, and especially celebrities, is what I talked about last time, that they're going to, things will be different. People that are essential workers and low income, that's not going to be the same, and they won't be treated badly anymore, and things are going to be thought of a lot different. For one, majority of people could care less about that. For two, even some people do are not going to follow through. You don't even have to wait for it to be over. You can go to most places are still open now. People are still treating the workers and people in general fucking terrible. You can go to fast food, they treat them just terrible as ever. And so clearly for most people that's not going to change, and that's just BS talk right now and just make themselves look better. And also, I'm not even at the opposite end where they should just automatically get crazy wages and $15 an hour and all this stuff. There's a reason these jobs are minimum wage, and that's coming from somebody that was stuck at a minimum wage job for 8 years, and still I'm happy with my job now and it's good, but most people would still consider it low wage. But so this isn't me preaching because I'm somewhere else, and that's what I think people need to understand is that they people preach this stuff because they say they care about older people, or people are being selfish because they're not caring about older people. But in the end, it all comes down to themselves because clearly because they're talking about older people in their family or whatever. Because like I said, when you talk about these portion of people that aren't just fighting because they want some ridiculous thing back, they're fighting for their livelihood or existence, then you don't care about them anymore. So it's fucking nonsense. Yeah, there's common sense things we could do, like, you know, if they're not going to get crazy wages, to, yeah, maybe be more respectful and talk nicely and don't just treat them like they're nothing just because they're making close to nothing. But like I said, you have the chance to do that now, and people aren't doing it. So I don't know why this is going to be thought of as different. And I think that's kind of what I was hinting at last time is that the first world problems and that kind of stuff is that I feel like people, if you talk like that, then you're entitled. That's another thing people always say, which I agree. People, including myself, like I said, these aren't always just preachy things, but are too entitled and about some of the dumbest shit and stuff they do not deserve and are not automatic. But people take it way too far, like talking about, like I said, wanting your fucking job, the thing you work for, your existence, your business that you build up, money so you can pay for medication so you don't die like these other people. Maybe they have older people that they're worried about, whatever, but that doesn't matter because they're entitled. Kind of like there's a theme park here in Ohio called Kings Island, and I paid for season tickets before all this happened. And um, I was thinking to myself that this is, they hadn't made any statement about what they would do if the season's canceled. And I was like, I really hope that they would do something for these people because I already spent my money. And before I could even do that, if you go into any of the social media, there's some people being very reasonable, talking about how they hope they compensate them or doing something. And anybody that brings up anything like that gets fucking destroyed and talks about how they're entitled or they clearly don't care about people dying or this things don't matter because something more important is happening. And for one, it's not even fucking close to being entitled or their definition of entitled to expect something that you're paying for. That's not what entitled means. You're literally entitled to that season pass for the season because that's what you pay for. So yeah, that's the definition of actual entitlement. So you are entitled to that. So talking about how that better not go to waste, even if they're not going to open. They didn't say you better open now because you need to open. They said that they want some kind of compensation for that, which is more than reasonable and actual entitlement, and you're entitled to that. Um, and then two, it like I said, there's most things you can compromise. That doesn't mean it has to be open right now and let you do everything and not worry about it. There's very reasonable and fair things to expect that you could set out a guideline of if you're not open for 2 months of the season, then your season pass is good for when it opens this season, assuming it does, and those 2 months you missed going into next season, I think it'd be more than fair. I think really they should offer refunds to everybody because there's a chance you won't live here. There's a lot of times people come here for the season, so I feel like it kind of sucks even if they offer free stuff next year to those people. And again, that's kind of it'd be nice if people started actually thinking about other people and full situations instead of just acting like they care about others, but assuming themselves. Because for me, I live here; it doesn't affect me at all. But it's helpful to think about other people. But yeah, so that's just not entitlement, and also adds to the you're not allowed to talk about things because something worse is happening, which there can always be something worse happening. So if that's the case, nobody should be allowed to talk about almost anything because there's always worse things happening. There's terrorist attacks happening, there's shootings happening. So you shouldn't be able to talk about your social issues. You shouldn't be able to talk about gender issues you have. Nothing because there's something more serious happening. Or we could put things in perspective and realize there are serious things, but you can also talk about other things too. Um, and then Kings Island announced a couple days ago a very fair, nice, a fair response, and I think actually more than fair. They announced that the season pass will be good for all of this season if they open, but even if they don't, that'll be good for all of next season. Or even if they do open, it'll be good for all of next season. So you get it for at least next season or potentially 2 seasons that are open this season. Like I said, I do think that sucks for the people who aren't in my situation, and that doesn't do any good for them. But I feel like that is making the best of a bad situation, and they obviously saw that as normal and not that we're entitled because we are entitled because we pay for it. So I agree, people are too entitled and expect things that they don't deserve or aren't owed, but those are things you are. That's not when you work a job and they tell you get paid. If you didn't get paid, you'd be pretty pissed and you'd think you're entitled, and that doesn't mean you're a little bitch. That means you're owed that money and you deserve it. And I'm pretty sure all these people talking like that would feel that way if they weren't getting paid their job. Um, and then jumping back a little bit. Um, so I was talking about uh, the virus and how they're adding these things to the cases. They also, this has always been done. I just didn't know till recently. And all the stuff I talk about, unless I'm citing something, is from the government here themselves, like the speeches Mike DeWine does, or Amy Atkin, or any of these things. I don't just look at random websites or Reddit and then spout it out. These are things that I pay attention to, and that's why I feel like I have a good understanding of it. But so I learned recently that another thing they do is, and this goes for Ohio, I know for sure because, like I said, the government said it. But I'm assuming the country because this is from the New York Times, and like I said, no, I know this for sure goes for Ohio. But it said that New York City's death toll rose to 10,000 today, and this was at April 14th. And the city added nearly 4,000 people who never tested positive for the coronavirus to its death toll. And that's because, like I said, here in Ohio for sure, and I'm assuming the rest of the country, and that's what that alludes to, is that they add you to the death toll if the well, in Ohio, I should say, they add you to the death toll if it's in your system at all. So if you're 60 years old with a history of heart problems and you die of a heart attack, but then you find out it was in your system, the virus was, then you're added to that death toll because that was potentially an issue. Instead of realizing more than likely that was going to happen because you're 60 years old and you have heart problems and you had a heart attack. So one would probably connect with the other, or it could be 100 years old and die of natural causes. But if you have the virus in your system and they figure it out, then you're added to the death toll. So I feel like that's already not being truthful. But I guess that's, I'm realizing as I said that, a little different than this because these people never tested positive, but they were adding nearly 4,000 to their 10,000, well, bringing it up to 10,000. Because, oh yeah, it says here because what they're talking about in Ohio now, so I'm sure it's the same thing that they presumed to have died from the virus. So, even though they didn't test positive, they're probably around somebody that had it. So, almost 4,000 people are added to that list, which is going to make numbers look a lot worse if that's how it is. And just go over a few random things with it. So, what came of it today was that, because like I said, I was going to talk about, I guess I'll talk about this first, is that I don't know. The initial peak was supposed to be 10,000. It's 1,600 now. But no matter what the peak is, no one person has been able to explain to me why that peak happens. Not, I don't get, I'm not saying I don't get where it gets that peak, but why does it peak there? Why does it automatically just drop off? And that's never been explained, even though everybody just says it because everybody says it. But I don't know how that makes sense. If it's that the highest it's ever been, why is it going to drop off if this is so bad? If there's no cure for it, there's no vaccine, why does it peak and then end and just everybody's flatten the curve and you peak and then it's over? But that made absolutely no sense. And the governor essentially admitted that today because he's talking about starting the reopening process of Ohio starting May 1st. But he said that he didn't know about that date for a long time because he had to be truthful with the with Ohioans that there's no vaccine, and until there is, there's no way to tell this will be over. So his own words, obviously, is bullshit because how did he know that was going to peak then if you're admitting that there's no end to it? So I don't really think that connects. And also, the answer everybody's wanted since it started is a timeline or where things would get to something. And they said they could have no timeline at end, which I guess isn't completely lying because that's true because you need a vaccine for it apparently, which was evident because there's no reason a peak would happen because a peak implies it's the highest and doesn't go any higher, but that doesn't make sense. And but it's not technically lying because you're not saying that, but it is kind of lying because even if you don't have a timeline, you could have said that from the beginning that we need a vaccine, so there's no way to know when the, and if you don't have a vaccine, then there's no way to know that that is a peak because you don't know when the end is. So that doesn't line up. And um, a few other things. Um, so they talked about these new masks coming to Ohio, which are, I wish I had a picture of it so you could see it, but if you picture a welder, and you know what a welder's helmet looks like, you like bring down a plastic over your face. That's what these new masks are, and I think it's serious because Mike DeWine tweeted it, so I think they're real, and these are what's supposed to protect us and what's gonna change it. So I guess we're all just gonna walk around as fucking welders now. But the part that does even better than that is something that Amy Acton said today, and This shit sounds so cheesy. This sounds like it'd be in a cheesy superhero movie. She said, face mask will be a big part of our future. Do not underestimate the power of donning your face mask. That'd be cheesy fucking writing in a cheesy superhero movie. If they want people to take this serious, they have to stop top of this fucking like it's the most cheesy superhero movie of all time. And just a couple other thoughts. Um, so another thing that I think is very hypocritical and annoying is when you talk to a lot of people, especially older people, when you talk about technology or they see you on your phone, then instantly you're just a youngster that doesn't know how to connect with people and you're so engrossed in your phone that you don't realize that there's a life around you, which I will say there's definitely a portion of people that are like that, and those kind of people could definitely, like most things, use some balance and realize that they can't just be sucked in their phone, and if somebody's talking to them, if something else is happening around them, just be so unaware. But the frustrating part is that for me, and I know a lot of other people, technology, especially your phone, because you usually have it with you, is bringing you closer to people, whether it's they're not, nobody's with you and you're able to communicate with more people, or even if you are with people, if you're on your phone, most time I'm using my phone when I'm around people is to, oh, look at this video, oh, look at this, which is something you're doing to interact with people and make more talk and be more social than you would be if you didn't have your phone. So, like most things, yeah, it could be used in a bad way, but if you're assuming everybody's like that, then that's kind of your own fault. And where it becomes hypocritical is that this thing that was evil and all these youngsters were just not understanding how to interact with people anymore. Now that's the only option, and everybody's like, you got to do this. This is what you got to do. All these old people, everybody's, oh, you got to use a Zoom. You got to use a FaceTime. These things are amazing. And ignoring the fact that this is what a lot of people were doing with their phones, not just engrossed and absolutely alone and had no process of what's happening around them, which I'm not mocking people for doing that. I think it is a good tool to have while you can't see people, especially, like I said, this is a dark way to think about it, but this is going to be the last time a lot of people see each other, whether it's nursing homes, people that do catch it, that um, do have all the traits that would line up with it and go poorly. Um, so I think it's very useful. I just think, like most things, that instead of making that a bad thing, you could realize that it is good and use some compromise there. And that kind of actually goes into my next and last point is that I really hope that we don't get so focused on that that's how life becomes. Like I said, that just like most things, that's good to have a balance of that. But if that's how people want to communicate from now on and be so apart, then I feel like that's going to be real bad for society. I feel like I said, once everything is over, like it's normal and the stay at home orders are lifted, I don't see any way for at least a few months people aren't going to be super cautious and germaphobes and crazy. But if it lasts past that and just that becomes a new normal, for one, I don't know if I can live in a world like that because that sounds fucking miserable. And two, and the bigger point is that I feel like that's probably the worst thing that could happen to humanity. I feel like technology is great and it is a good way to connect, but if we get so in the habit of that being the way and making sure we're apart from people, even if not if it's just technology, like even if we're in spaces, but we have to be apart at all times and touching and hugging and all these things aren't okay. It's obviously as long as you're being appropriate and not sexually harassing somebody and consent and all that, but that should go without saying if you're just being a normal person. If that is, if you're being a normal person and not doing those things and that's discouraged and becomes wrong, I feel like that's literally probably one of the worst things that could happen to humanity. I feel like when we're at our best is when we are close and when somebody needs a hug or you need a hug, or even if it's not something like that, even if it's just dumb things like pranking each other or like high fives or handshakes or whatever. I feel like that brings people closer than ever, like sporting events, people giving each other fives at random people, concerts. It's what brings people together is physical contact, and if that becomes something that is frowned upon long term, I feel like that's one of the worst things that could happen humanity, and I really hope that's not the case because I just feel like that would be so bad. Um, so you're gonna notice when I edit this that there's gonna be a quite a jump because we never edit anything like this. Because the last 15 minutes I was recording this, my controller, or since we're doing a different setup here, this is what I'm using, connecting my headset here, turned off. So I was just sitting here talking to myself, so that record all the video, but no audio. So that explains the bad cut. And also, if I repeated some things, that is a possibility, but I try to go back and remember where I was at. But also, it kind of messed up some of my points and what I was trying to say with this. So I might address that in another episode, and I'm sure this is going to be an ongoing thing, anyways. And yeah, hopefully this is all back to normal soon. So this isn't a normal issue, anyways. But like most things, it's just a learning curve. So we'll try and figure it out. Um, and I've been meaning to say this for a couple weeks. Our friend Dave and Allie had their first baby. So congratulations, you guys. I know I told you in person, but I want to tell you on here as well. And to anybody that made it this far, um, thank you for tuning in as normal, and or as always, I should say. And appreciate if you like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and really appreciate if you would share with people because we get more views and feel like we're doing this for a reason, and also be able to create more of a hopefully a community and discussion, be able to bond together. Since like I said, I feel like that's what people use now more than ever. Um, and I'm gonna throw a curveball here because I remembered something for once before the episode ended, and that's the point that I was trying to get at about. I hope that this doesn't pull us apart. And I feel like there's evidence to show when these major events happen how good people can be, like when 9/11 happened, and um, being patriotic and loyal and helping each other out and just doing whatever was at an all-time high. And fast forward even just 5 years, we're obviously way farther than that now, but even 5 years, and it literally turns into a meme, and it's a thing that's a joke. And that's what I hope we don't lose sight of, is that you can build off of that and be positive and not just sink into that. So I hope that's what happens. Um, but that's just a random aside. But as always, you can send us any emails with corrections, questions, feedback to currentbackloggers@gmail.com. And like I said, anybody that made it this far, sorry for the mess ups, and hopefully we'll keep me better. And love you.